What makes a great custom suit? Fabric sourced from the finest Italian. Details handpicked by you. And made right here in America. I'm Joseph Abboud. This is my custom suit. Now available at Wendy's Warehouse. Wendy's Double Stack is back in the 4-for-4 with a quarter pound of fresh, never frozen. Which means you can get the Double Stack, the Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, or Crispy Chicken BLT with 4 nuggets, fries,
alright, so that's where we're at so far. Let's unplug the welder.
but not for long. This new day looks nothing like yesterday. Trails are covered.
There we go.
Paths aren't what they used to be.
Move it over a little bit. I'm going to leave it right here just in case I decide to do any more tacking. Now the thing is, I want to make sure it's straight, so I'm going to have to square it off. So I may have to put something in the corners just to square it off a little bit. But other than that, I'm done with it for now. What time is it, guys? It is time for me to go in. So that took me about a half an hour, which wasn't bad. So, got everything. Oh, let me get the radio. Need the radio to forward. Turn you guys off. Okay. Here we go. This is what we got. It's actually square to a point. By itself, it's like, I think I measured it, I was like an eighth off. But once I start filling it, and this has got a little bit of a bend in it, curvature coming in, but that again is not an issue. Once I start putting in the support shelving, I will be able to just straighten it out a little here. Actually, that's not all. It's not even that much, actually. It's less than that. But meanwhile, here's what I'm going to do. The hardest part is trying to get the radios in. And if I have to take one out, trying to get in there, because the brackets mount downward and the radios bolt sideways into the bracket. Alright, sorry about that. Now what do we got going? Ice. So what I think I'm going to do, I think what I'm going to do is, hold on a minute, I'm going to get some ply. Again, I don't care what goes in the middle. You follow me? As long as the outer structure is okay as far as being a metal. When this gets bolted to the L brackets that are bolted through the floor of the van, this will be chassis mounted and grounded. However, I still run a ground, an additional ground from the chassis. Not the chassis, but so-called battery, let's put it that way, from here. Now what I'm thinking of doing though is mounting the radios to here. Well, not this particular piece, but to a piece of plywood. And then at that point cut the plywood to the width that I need, or the length that I need, mount it to here, and then I can slide them in and bolt them from the side. If I have to take it out, all I would have to do is take out the 2 bolts on either side, slide it back out, and I can disconnect the radios. That, even though I got to on-bolt 2 bolts on each side, total of 4, it would still be a lot easier than trying to get in there to do things when there's another radio over here. So I think that's going to be the best way out. So I think anyway, I just noticed this is split. I think I'll put some glue on that and put a clamp on it. But I think that's what I'm going to do. Now I do have some ply over there. I believe I have enough to do what I need to do in the size. Oh yeah, I got a whole half sheet still. Okay, so at that point, but I'd rather use, if I got a bunch of, I like to use a scrap. If I just have a scrap piece that I can use both, because I only need, well, I might as well do all 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I'm still debating if I want to put a piece down here to help straighten this out or not, like have a shelf on it or not. But 1, 2, 3, and I can slide things under here, like I have a power inverter that can slide in under here, which would be good. So that's about where I'm at. Now the radios are going to dictate just how far the shelves are apart. However, they're not real thick, so it's not a big deal. I think the thickest one I have is maybe 1.5 inches. So, and that's where we'll be. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. Now I do have a couple of little pieces here. And here. This is what I got left. So what I was also thinking of doing is, I don't need a lot. So I can get away with these, or I can cut this in like 1.5, probably about 2.5 inch cuts. Put a bend in it at 1 inch. Tack them inside so that the shelf has something to slide in on and rest on, so it's not dependent solely on the bolt. And then I can get away with just putting 1 bolt on each side if I wanted to. I think I can bend this into vise with a little bit of heat. Not totally sure, but I think so. So that's another plan. So we're going to take this one step at a time, and I'll be back. Alright, so this is what I'm kind of thinking about here. Now the only thing I want to do here is possibly, the brackets have some adjustment on them, but I'm not going to solely depend upon that. What I'm thinking of doing is just canting these or tilting these a little bit, probably about 3/4 inch or so. And if I do each one, we should be okay. Let me move this one over here for a minute. As long as I still have the clearance in the back, because the radio, if I do this, I'm eating up a little room, but at the same token, it's giving me a little bit more flexibility with the radio. Now, what I mean by eating up room, this bottom piece that I was talking about, that I wanted to put the power inverter in, will no longer be able to fit down there, but I can always put that under the seat. And then I can put the switches up here, see, because this will be all open. Yeah, so that's what I'll probably end up doing. So I'm first going to get everything in place and kind of measured up a little bit. I'll put a clamp on it just to tighten it up so that it'll hold it for me, so I can get in there and get a little bit of a mark. Well, actually I can measure it off and do the same thing, so I can do that. Somewhere around here I have another one of these that I yanked apart. Well, it's not a big deal to take it apart, because that'll give me some of my angle, I'm thinking. So, alright, so you see where I'm at so far. Alright, so here's what we got so far. We got the Yaesu FT891. $891, if it'll focus. We have the Yaesu tuner, the FC50. That goes with the 891. We have an ICOM 2 meter. It's the ICOM IC2300H. H basically means high power. And then I have these two pieces of El Carapo, but they actually work. On long key downs, I don't know. I don't know what they would sound like as far as adjacent channel and things like that. I don't know what the deviation is like. but the price was right, so I bought 2 of them. I normally keep one on VHF and the other one on UHF. Now the channels or the frequencies that I keep this one on, which is a VHF side, is basically this is a VHF as well. But I keep this on frequencies that are out of band that I use for other things, you know, around town and things. So I keep that one set for that. This one is a 2-meter 440. They're both 2-meter 440s. However, I use this one more so on the 440 side because I haven't got a 440 radio yet. Now, this is not going to go back in there. I do use a CB when I'm traveling on the highway occasionally to see what's going on. It's great for that. But I don't need one that big just to do some checking. So that one is actually going to be put in here. And that's where we're at. Now, I'm thinking of buying the new ICOM 4100. That is a dual bander, meaning it does the same as a UHF and a VHF. It's basically the same as these, but it's better quality. And it's about this size. If I do that, I'm still going to keep these in there because, again, they're 2 independents. It'll be kind of like a redundancy on radios, because if I buy the other one, it'll do what both of those do. But sometimes you don't want to have to change back and forth, back and forth. I can just key this up and talk to who I have to talk to around town, which is somewhat town related. And if UHF, I key this one up, because there are some around town UHF channels as well that I can use. So if I buy the other one, does it mean that I can replace any of these? Well, I can probably take this one out, but I would probably still end up with those 2 in. But those are so damn small that it doesn't make that much of a difference. So that's where we're at. Those are the QYT, which is the KT 8900. So anyway, I'm going to kind of put those in there on a little angle. I was measuring the depth because I have to make sure that the back has the depth that I need when I put it in there. For instance, if I was to take this piece and say like that, well, that's the perfect angle. However, the back is way too short, too narrow. So I would have to bring this out to about here. And now the angle's off a little bit, so I'm going to have to add to it. And at that point, that's where I'm at. So I'll put something on there and make it so that it'll fit. And then I can go to the next one and to the next one. So that's where we're at right now, trying to just get things to fit. And to make it so naturally they're going to be equal across the board, so that the shelf isn't at an angle or tilted or canted. Now what I had done, I cut the shelves out of some ply that I had. I didn't paint the whole shelf. I painted, as you can see, the nose, which is going to be showing some of what goes down, because you may or may not see some of that, and the same thing on the back side. That's done with an oil-based paint, so it'll help somewhat protect it. I have them separated, and I have them set on here in a way so that when the heat rises, it catches each one, and the fan up here is kind of blowing it down. So those should be dry within a few hours, dry enough to where I can start comfortably working on putting this together, and hopefully maybe today is Sunday, by the way, get it in tomorrow. Today is Sunday. What is Sunday? Let's see here. If you like shortwave radio, 150 bucks, and you got a shortwave radio on your computer. Today is Sunday, December 17th, 2017, and it is noontime. And it is 42 degrees Fahrenheit outside, 64 inside. And I am currently running on 12.5 volt. And that's where I'm at. And the sun is out just enough to where it's keeping up with me. 12.5, 12.6, 12.5, 12.6. So we'll be alright. Alright, that's about it for now. Alright, I don't know if you can see those marks or not. But I've got one there, one there, one there. And they're measured out. And they're duplicated up there. So now that'll be the bottom of the shelf, still giving me enough room. And we'll just clear this. So we're not going to have any underspace. But basically what I mean this way, underspace here, because when it comes in, it's going to cover that. If I had a small piece of wood here, I'd kind of give you an idea, but I haven't. It's too long. Okay, that's too long. You guys got the idea. You guys got the picture. So basically, if that's going to be like that, and the shelf being about ½ inch, I'm only going to have about a ½ inch of space. So, but up here, I'm going to end up with about 3 inches of space across the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another piece up here and throw the switches in it. Now this may be a little too heavy to put up there, but we'll see. I don't know yet. And I'm not going to use the whole thing naturally, but this can kind of fit up there, and I'll cut it in a little bit, round the edges off, and tack that there, and the switches can go on this. Again, it's not going to be that long. I'll probably cut off I don't know, about an inch or so on each side, and I'll bring it around this way. So when I cut it, I'll cut it from the top corner and come in about 1.5 inches. You follow? And kind of just taper it around and round the edges off like I did these. Like you've seen one, you've seen them all, but I gotta show them all to you. I like making long videos. I got this from the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. For some reason, I don't know how, I got this quite a while ago. They want me to become an instructor for them. I don't know why. But meanwhile, that's it. I don't know. I don't even know how they got a hold of me. You know, but that came in the mail one day. All right. Anyway, this is where I'm at. So I'm kind of like at a standstill here right now. I may just give this a good cleaning, because I don't want to have to every time I touch it. You know what? I may clean it down real good, and maybe I'll put a clear coat on it, and that'll kind of help it in a few different ways. I may even just spray it. You know what? Maybe I'll spray it. Yeah, I think I will. I'll spray it. I'll probably spray it black. You know, like a flat black or semi, nothing high gloss or anything. And then I'll put a clear coat on it. And when I use a clear coat, maybe I'll try this leak seal stuff. I think it's got a little bit of a coating on it, kind of a rubber. I don't know. I'm gonna test that. But meanwhile, I think, yeah, flat black would be fine. And I don't think I'm gonna have to prime it. Do I have a primer up there? I do, but I don't think I'm gonna need to prime it. No, let me take this though, because I want to see how it actually works. So I'm going to spray it on something and let it dry. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, so meanwhile, I painted this black. It's like a satin black. About 10 minutes ago, I stuck it on top of the wood burner, so kind of dried it up a lot quicker. Dried it a touch anyway. And then I got this stuff here, which I've never used. Actually, I've never seen it until the time that I bought it, but apparently it's almost like that crap you see on TV. And again, I don't know how good that is. I never really did any checking on the internet to see if anybody used it or whatever. So meanwhile, I'm going to just use this as a test piece. Yeah, I'll learn to speak English sooner or later, and we'll see how it comes out. Whoa, well, it comes out with some force, that's for sure. Now let's see how it dries. It's supposed to dry rubbery. Well, it comes out kind of heavy. That's a good deal. I don't know if that's something I'm going to want to put on here. I'm going to wait until see how it looks before I do that. And then it tells you when you're done, actually hold the can upside down on a little bit of an angle and spray it until nothing comes out, and that'll prevent the nozzle from getting clogged. Clear, clogged, cleared. So, and that's where we're at. So we're going to let that sit there for a few minutes. You know what? Maybe I'll put this back over on top of the wood stove and see if that cures it a little bit faster. Just right there for now. Oh, okay, now let's take a can, and they say turn it upside down and spray it on something. Okay, we'll just do it under the counter here. There. Put the top back on it, because that does help, believe it or not. And we're just going to put everything away for now until we actually see how it's going to work. Alright guys, we're just going to wait. I wiped that all down and cleaned it all down with some acetone, and then I wiped it off. So now I'm going to make sure that it's dry and all the fumes are off it. Once that's done, then I can start putting the black on it, because I'm going to want to do multiple coats. Multiple coats are better than one heavy coat. I've said that once before. So that's where we're at. Because I am going to paint it. There's no doubt about it. I want to paint it. And I guess black would be the way to go. I don't know.